So we're in this kind of wheel of misfortune, right? We're in a wheel of misfortune. The rule changes favoring the 1%, greater economic inequality, weakened American worker, weakened labor and grassroots movements, greater political power for the elite. So how do we break out of this wheel of misfortune? Is what, again, I always go back to Reverend Jackson. I've been listening to him my entire life, is we fight back. And Reverend Jackson, brought up something that I remember the day after Obama got elected. I was in Chicago, and there it is a debate. Should we as activists kind of sit back and believe that now that we have a Democratic Congress, Democratic Senate, we have President Obama, that they're going to have enough progressive forces to lead the country in a progressive way? So should we get behind them, or should we get in front of them and try to create a path? I think many of us, for a year or so, just kind of sat back and said, okay, go get them. And what happened was we got, right? They weren't able to go get him. They got him, right? Because I remember, because I listen to Rush Limbaugh every now and then just to keep my ear to the enemy, see what's going on. I remember a week after Obama got elected, Limbaugh was calling this the Obama economy, right? So you've had decades of regression. George Bush in office for 8 years. Obama was in office for a week. And he started saying the Obama economy, the Obama recession. And people are like, yeah. And I think that really helped create the Tea Party movement. And so the Tea Party movement, one thing I respect for them is they don't sit back and let establishment and Republicans lead them. They get out in front and say, you're going to follow us. And I think we saw that. We saw more of us doing that in 2010. Right? We saw us doing that with the One Nation March, where labor rights and civil rights were coming together and trying to highlight a progressive economic agenda. We saw amazing amount of immigrant rights marches happening in 2010. And most recently, we have the Occupy Wall Street. I kind of want to show everything hasn't been bad. Some things we have been making some important reforms over the last couple years. Right? I mean, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, that, for whatever faults it has, is going to be the biggest increase in health coverage, which, again, remember, health and coverage is going up 138%. Less and less workers are covering for it. If we don't have a mass federal expansion of health coverage, the working class person will never be able to get back to the middle class lifestyle of the 70s. And so that is an important act. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, it didn't make everybody's life 100% better, but it did help stop job loss. It did make important gains. And I think the thing that I'm most kind of excited about is the Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act with the creation of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Because under the Obama administration, they set up a mechanism to start regulating Wall Street and finance. Now, some people say, oh, well, that was passed years ago. Things haven't gotten that much better, so that doesn't matter. And I will point as evidence, look at what conservative and elite forces are doing now. They're doing everything they can to destroy these little reforms. They're trying to destroy the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau before it even got off the ground. And I'll also point back to the Great Society, because I've heard, and people start believing this, the Great Society didn't do anything for anyone. It didn't really help move this country forward. If it really didn't do anything to anyone, why are conservative forces 40 years later still trying to take away Social Security, right? As soon as Social Security became for everyone, all of a sudden you get Nixon. You get the conservative backlash. So, we have to acknowledge some of the victories we have, and then we need to advance it, because we do need to go farther. We need what I think they had in the 30s, where they had a New Deal 1. Now, then they had a New Deal 2. We need an American Recovery, Reinvestment, and Regulation 2.